How's it going, everyone? I hope you had a fantastic new year. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm John. Here we talk about all things movies and theme parks. And if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and click that subscribe button, click like, comment, share the video. All those sorts of things help. I appreciate it a ton. But I'm not wasting any time today. Let's just get down to brass tacks, shall we? Nostalgia. It plagues our movies, our theme parks, our entertainment as a whole. People that are on the older end of the spectrum, and by older I don't mean a senior adult, grandma with a wheelchair, or what am I doing, wheelchair? This is not a wheelchair, this is a walker. No. What I mean is people between the ages of 30 to 50 that remember things the way they once were, and clearly it's 2024 and those things are no longer that way. The Oxford Dictionary defines nostalgia as so: a sentimental longing or wishful affection for the past, typically for a period or place with happy personal associations. There's a few key things in there that I think are important to note. Personal being the utmost, and then happy being the second piece. It's no secret that I've talked about plenty of sequels and prequels and things that are being made constantly in Hollywood these days that we just don't necessarily need or want, but we keep getting them anyway. Why is that? I think that there's a few things we can examine there, but really when you get down to it, it just comes to the simple notion of it's safe. It's a safe bet. Some of these original IPs are tried and true, and no matter how bad the movie is, you're going to get some percentage of people in those seats. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that's just the lay of the land, unfortunately. And I'm even guilty of it myself. Now, that's mostly because I just go and see anything and everything within reason, but for the average viewer, a title such as, let's say, Indiana Jones is going to get people in seats more than, say, a movie called Sisu. Or an even more direct comparison would be John Wick and Sisu. So those films are very similar, but one has a number of years of people knowing the character of John Wick, also knowing the actor of Keanu Reeves for many decades at this point. And Sisu was a no-name film last year, and it was fun. But let's actually take a look at two movies that are blockbuster territory. One, Spider-Man No Way Home. The other, Jurassic World Dominion. Both came out different years, both have different stories, but both have characters that people know and love and appreciate. Now, spoiler alert for Spider-Man No Way Home if you haven't seen it, it features all three live-action Spider-Man. That being Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland. Jurassic World Dominion features all the characters from the Jurassic World franchise that started in 2015 with the first Jurassic World, and adds back in Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, and Laura Dern. Not that it's a great metric of measure by any stretch. I think that Rotten Tomatoes is fairly arbitrary, but it does give us a little bit of a look at what audiences thought, which is the more important thing. Critics are hit or miss, we all know that. So let's examine Rotten Tomatoes. Spider-Man No Way Home has a 98% from the audience and a 93% from critics. Very good score. Jurassic World Dominion has a 77% from audiences and a whopping 29% from critics. I'm using these two movies in particular because both rely on nostalgia, but both are very different when it comes to how audiences responded to them. Spider-Man No Way Home uses the legacy characters in a way that could be conceived as nostalgia baity in a sense, but Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire both have significant screen time in the last act of the movie. Not only do they have significant screen time and not just a throwaway cameo, they're critical to the arc of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. We get some nods with Tobey's back and with Andrew Garfield catching Zendaya, but by and large the characters have evolved, have gone through a number of different trials in their own universes, and because of this big hodgepodge thing that is the multiverse, they've landed in Tom Holland's world, and we're focusing more on him than them. Jurassic World Dominion takes a different approach. You have two narratives featuring the new characters, that being Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, and then the old characters, which, as I mentioned before, is Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum. These sort of run in tandem side by side throughout the duration of the film, and it's not great because of a number of reasons, and the actors are definitely not the issue here. They bring the same charisma and joy that they always have to the screen, but because the writing is not good, they aren't able to shine properly. And I think that when it comes to films, that's what this really comes down to. It's bad writing. If you're relying on nostalgia to just try and make a quick buck and get butts in seats, you're going to do that on some level, but the box office alone is telling. Spider-Man No Way Home made $1.9 billion worldwide. Jurassic World Dominion, it crossed $1 billion worldwide, which is very respectable. Honestly, that's a lot more than I thought it made when I looked at the number. There's still a clear difference. Spider-Man made almost double, and that's not almost double in millions. That's double. It almost made an extra $1 billion. Now, you could argue all day long that Spider-Man is just a more popular IP than Jurassic Park, which is probably fair and also probably true. However, I still want to maintain that there is a clear level of difference when it comes to the way that these films are structured, written, the way that the characters are portrayed, the use of nostalgia to grab people and hook you into the film, and rewatchability. I've seen No Way Home probably 5 or 6 times, and I'm a pretty diehard Spider-Man fan, sure, but I'm also a huge Jurassic Park fan, and I've seen the original Jurassic Park movies countless times. I couldn't even tell you. But Jurassic World Dominion, I did see twice in the theaters. The first time I absolutely hated it. The second time I had more fun than I thought I would with it. And maybe that's just because I knew what to expect, but I think it's okay for us to demand more from franchises that once were titular tentpoles in the industry and in their genres. Now, switching gears to the theme park end of nostalgia, it's no secret that Disney and Universal, the ones that we're going to focus in on for the purposes of this video, have both undergone a lot of changes over the years. And it's also not a secret that Universal is a much newer park than Disney World or Disneyland. That in mind, as we've covered on this channel previously, Universal is definitely carving its own path and making a name for itself in Orlando specifically. It is trying to compete directly with Disney World, and they are not being quiet about it. The first time that I went to Disney World was probably in 2003, 4, maybe something along those lines, and I remember it super fondly. The last time that I was at the park was just a few weeks ago, and the difference is stark, but I want to also try and curb my own recollections and expectations when it comes to theme park visits, because as a kid, there's an innate element of wonder that you're not going to be able to replicate as an adult. And that's okay. But the thing that Disney should be doing well, and I would argue they're not doing super great these days, is reminding the people that are older that are visiting the parks with their kids probably what it was like to be a kid. With the Genie app, having to be on your phone, having to constantly be looking down at things, you're just tied up. And it's a weird thing because when you're at Disney, you're on vacation, or you're supposed to be. And I don't want to be looking at my phone. I don't want to be looking at something that potentially could have pop-up work emails or what have you, anything and everything. I want to be immersed in the parks and be present with my family or my friends that I'm visiting with. As a kid, that's a lot easier to do, but is the nostalgia factor purely based on the fact that as kids, you're able to comprehend what's going on around you in a way that's unencumbered by the nihilism of adulthood, and also in a way that allows your imagination to roam free. And as adults, we just have less imagination. It's just reality. But I don't think that that should inhibit us from having a good time at theme parks. I think we should still be able to do that. And I think that you learn to appreciate things that you didn't as a kid. As a kid, things are all about the rides. As an adult, at least for me, things are all about the theming and how things are presented and what they look like and how well they're maintained. Very silly things, mind you, but the things that I care about nonetheless. With all of that said, Universal has obviously done a number on itself too over the years in different ways. Islands of Adventure wasn't there when the original Universal opened in Orlando, and obviously neither was Epic Universe. And I've made mention of this in other videos as well, but Universal relies heavily on 4D technology and screens for a lot of these rides, where it used to be practical effects. I maintain that E.T. is my favorite ride at Universal Studios, and that's because it's a dark ride that has practical animatronics. No matter how creepy they come across. But I don't want this video to overstay its welcome. I really want to pass the question off to you guys. When it comes to nostalgia, do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Do you think that films should rely more heavily on it, but utilize it in ways that are smart? And same with theme parks. Do you think that they should capitalize on your nostalgia a little bit? And I'm looking at you, Disney, just go ahead and bring Powerline into the parks, please. Or do you think that all of that is moot and we should just move forward and try and get with the times and get with the program, basically? Let me know what you think down below. Thanks for checking out this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a great day.